We all wonder occasionally if we are working hard enough, earning enough money, or will ever be considered successful enough. I can attest to this because I had prolonged bouts of anxiety and self-doubt as a young adult. In this video, we'll talk about how to overcome self-doubt. I've always held the view that we are the worst judges of ourselves. Each of us has at some point felt the nagging feeling of self-doubt. We examine our own actions, asking ourselves things like, have I done enough? Am I really good at this? Or the more existential, am I going in the right direction? If you've ever wondered these things, you probably already know that they're often accompanied by a heaviness of incompetence and even worthlessness. Imposter syndrome, also known as a recurring pattern of self-doubt and the internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud or failure, is what psychologists refer to in this situation. It sounds like you. The fact that imposter syndrome affects people who are truly successful at what they do may be the saddest aspect of the condition. They doubt their suitability for the jobs they have chosen, the veracity of their arguments, and even the value of the work they produce. It comes as no surprise that there is frequently a lot of tension, anxiety, and perhaps even sadness associated with it. When things go bad, people give up. Because of how they view themselves, they abandon the work, believing that they have already failed. We're our own worst critics, as I mentioned, us. Even though a lot of what I wrote sounds depressing, there is a bright side for when self-doubt becomes too great. In the end, we still have to struggle with self-limiting beliefs since they prevent us from growing. Here are some techniques for fighting self-doubt. Tell yourself no. Saying no to yourself can be a pretty effective way to combat anxious thoughts. I know that sounds too simple. Do you know how our negative thoughts can occasionally branch out into other negative thoughts? Say no before that even begins to develop into a multi-branched tree in your head. The bad thoughts we have inside our heads can sometimes be silenced with just that. You must understand that self-doubt is a pattern, and that this pattern may be broken with a quick, strong head shake. Break the loop of comparison. Self-doubt is already challenging to conquer on its own. Avoid adding to it by contrasting your advancement with that of your family, friends, or co-workers. Keep in mind that everyone's experience of growth is different. Self-hatred and occasionally even anger or animosity against the other person can be brought on by comparing oneself to other individuals. Replace this harmful comparison loop with a much better habit as a good solution to this. Compare yourself to yourself if you want to. Observe your growth over time and calculate how much progress you made between day 1 and day 365. Not only is this a healthier habit, but it is also a great way to see a clearer picture of what you are capable of doing. Fail gracefully. One of the most difficult things for a person to accomplish is to accept failure, yet it is unavoidable if we want to maintain our motivation high enough to strive even harder. A person who has conquered self-doubt is able to view failures as transient events. They use the failures as learning opportunities and try again the next day. Keep in mind that winners are simply those who tried again after failing. Be kind about your mistakes, learn from them, and resolve not to let the list of things you were unable to do define you. Fail, but keep believing in your ability. Publish a journal. When you're having a bad day, a few encouraging words from others might instantly make you feel better. You can't always count on your friends or family to compliment you on your work, though. Do it for yourself, then. On good days, journal about your victories. Describe the challenges you overcame and include at least 3 things that went well for you that day. Keep your documentation as factual and thorough as you can if you are just starting a journal. When you have verifiable evidence of your accomplishments to support you, you will find that it is much simpler to fight your self-doubt. Additionally, you'll observe that as you develop the writing habit, you'll learn to evaluate your own development objectively. Accept good things. Try your hardest to banish unreasonable negative thoughts from your head as you work toward breaking your old self-doubt habit. My suggestion is to take in the positive energy surrounding you. Take back your day if you feel like it got off to a horrible start by listening to your favorite music or, even better, reading self-help books. You might not typically read books in this category, but if you give it a shot, you'll see how they can help you shift your perspective so that you pay attention to your potential rather than your perceived shortcomings. Make up a mantra for yourself. Do you recall when I said that we are our own harshest critics? You can also play the other role and become your biggest supporter and fan, so don't be startled. Create a set of mantras that you may repeat to yourself each morning before leaving for work or school to achieve this. Start by telling yourself aloud in front of a mirror that I am capable, I am beautiful, and I am loved. When we start our days off well, we often maintain that mindset throughout the day. In conclusion, I'm sure you can see that the most straightforward way to express all of this is be kinder to yourself. We frequently criticize ourselves without realizing how negatively this affects our potential to improve in both our personal and professional life. Funny how just deciding to love oneself more may defeat this incredibly negative thinking. This is also easier said than done, much like the majority of the advice you may have heard. Learning to be kinder and more forgiving to ourselves requires effort, but the time you put into it will be well worth it. What better method to overcome self-doubt than to focus your efforts on learning to love yourself more, now that I think about it? You must not be able to think of any other option. I sincerely hope that you enjoy and learn something from this video.